Well, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's going to be an exciting day today. Shmuel has it's been an eventful. I think everybody has seen the headlines, and what a weekend. Not a good one. So Shmuel, give us some updates. Tell us what's going on there.
Right. Thank you, Kim. And the situation it's always not normal, but I want to show you this. And look where I'm right now. Okay. I'm gonna move my computer. Okay. I'm sitting in an ice cream shop in the city of Modin. And I came here for an event and I said I need to go. I have a Zoom and I'm gonna go back there. And why I show you this is I see people in the end of the summer eating ice cream. And yet, 2 days ago, September 1st, was probably the hardest day since October 7th. If you've been to Israel on Sunday, you would literally feel down and you will feel sad and you will feel people walking like zombies. It was a mix. It was the day of the start of the year, was the school year started. And people were like thrilled to send their kids um, to school. And yet on Saturday night already, we found out and we heard there were situation when they found six hostages. And unfortunately, in the morning, we revealed the stories and the faces. Suddenly, everything stopped. The one person, probably the most famous kidnapped hostage, Hirsch, and his face was so familiar to so many places. It felt like literally the country stopped. In his funeral at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, people tuned in to watch it live from all over Israel, from all over the world. It was a place of, I can tell you, the feeling was loss of hope. When we heard that they were literally got shot a couple of days, maybe a couple of days, hours before they were found, the feeling was this notion of we cannot lose this situation. Those hostages won't be released alive. They will survive more than 300 days in the tunnels. We heard that their physical situation was really bad. They were thin, they lost weight, awful time. And yet, in the last minute, a bullet in the head. The feeling was we were incapable to stand from it. And I've texted my wife. I told her, listen, I'm in work. I came back after a long summer trip and I'm sitting in front of my desk and I cannot work like I felt on the 8th of October and the 9th. People were all tuning in into it. And I thought it was only me. But that was the feeling and that was the notion all around Israel. That morning, to raise the bar of sadness, there were three police officers that were murdered on the main road next to Hebron. One of them lost his daughter on the 7th of October. I cannot explain the heavy heart we had and we have. And since that moment, something snapped. Because if you saw the news from that moment in the afternoon of Sunday, demonstrations all over Israel. People are walking to the streets and yelling to the prime minister, stop the madness. Do something. Release the hostages. Make a deal. Do something to stop it. And on the flip side, Netanyahu yesterday stands in front of Israel and shows a note that was found in one of the tunnels written by Sinwar himself, the head terrorist of the Hamas, saying That's exactly the point. I want to bring the people of Israel into this fight. Blame Netanyahu for this, not the Hamas who murdered Netanyahu, to make this commotion inside of Israel and break us from inside. And these 3 days, until this moment, that's what we have in our head. I have friends calling me literally from all over the world, including an offer from one of my friends who lives in Athens, tells me Israel is falling down. Come live in Athens with us. Don't be the last person standing in Israel. I want to stop this thought for a second and I want to jump into the main headlines of today's newspaper. The IDF announced Judea and Samaria is an official new combat zone. Did you see the last attempts for terror in Judea and Samaria in the last couple of days? 3 cars that were supposed to explode inside communities. 2 in Gush Etzion, 1 in Benjamin, a car with 40 or 400 kilos of explosives ready to be exploding immediately when a bus of the school kids is going to leave the community. Thank God in those 3 situations, nothing happened. You can see the video of one of them being um, like exploded in a gas station in Gush Etzion. Our guest today lives, what, Gabi, 3 minutes from that station?
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, but yeah. Hi, hi everyone.
The official announcement by the Israel IDF tells you that there's a new reality that we talked about many times, over and over again, that the situation in Judea and Samaria is a situation that needs to be covered as well. We were focusing in the last year almost in the north and in the south, and we allowed to open a new terror nest inside Judea and Samaria. I don't want to shout, people are around, but if we will understand the amount of ammunition that was drawn into Judea and Samaria, the amount of tunnels, equipment that was brought from Iran. They caught equipment from Iran in Judea and Samaria, and this is exactly where we live. Like I'm now in Modin. This is not Judea and Samaria. Judea and Samaria is 7 minutes from here. The understanding now that the government has and the IDF has is if we will not enter or re-enter and visit all the major Arab towns and stop the terror development there, we will have the 7th of October throughout Israel in every area that borders with Samaria. And open the map and you will see all of the major cities are bordering with Judea and Samaria. And in the last years, just like what happened on the 7th of October, we fell asleep and they allow themselves to develop, get more ammunition geared up, have tunnels, and all the equipment needed for an operation, a serious operation that will happen in the region. Right now, in the last couple of weeks, the main attempts are in Jenin and in Tulkarem. You probably hear about it, arrest here, arrest there. There was a guy who actually, a soldier who died a couple of days ago in one of those operations, but it's only the beginning. And it's official as formed yesterday that the next big move is going to be in Judea and Samaria, in the big Arab villages. I have Gabi Kraus today as our guest, and before I'm going to give him the opportunity to share with us, I would say this: it's all about timing. What happened in the last week in Israel is equivalent to what happened in the last 4 months before that. Like it's everything comes into this boiling moment right now. the demonstrations, the devastating news from the hostages, Netanyahu is in a very difficult situation with the government inside and outside, the terror opportunities in Judea and Samaria, the election in the US, and the pressure that comes from all different directions to seize a deal right now. And that's exactly where we're standing at. Do we give away the opportunity to control the border and the area between Egypt and Gaza and allowing everything that happened until now to re-happen because they're going to be under control in Gaza and they would be able to have a clean line of ammunition entering from Sinai Peninsula? Or we stop right now? Yesterday, Netanyahu stood and said it in the most simple way you can imagine. Sinwar, it ain't gonna happen. We will not allow our forces to leave the Philadelphia border, which is the border area between Gaza and the Sinai Peninsula. I'm giving all these updates, but you will hear much more from that from all the outlets. And in the end of this talk, hopefully Kim is going to share also our new Telegram account, where I'm starting this new initiative to bring updates, live updates from Israel on our Telegram, and I hope you will join as well. I'm stopping right now, and I'm going to give the respect and honor to my friend Gabi Kraus. Gabi is leading one of the most original initiatives I think we have in our region, and actually throughout Israel. It's an initiative that connects exactly to topics we talked about in this very meeting in the past with ultra Orthodox and how can they integrate into the army. So without anything else, Gabi, shalom, how are you? I want to say first, Gabi, tell us just a minute or two about yourself, and then we're going to start with the video. Please.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Shmuel, for the opportunity, and thank you everyone for coming and giving me the honor to present myself and what we do. By the way, Shmuel, you know that just what you said before, the car that exploded in Gush Etzion, I live in Efrat. I live in Efrat in Gush Etzion, married to Vardit. I have 4 kids. The car that exploded in the gas station in Gush Etzion was aimed to come into Efrat next to where I live. But then the Arab, I saw the video. The Arab sees the security car, so he made the U-turn and went to the gas station, and then eventually exploded over there. But it was supposed to explode in Efrat. That was his goal. So yeah, thank you for sharing also that story, Shmuel. Yeah, so again, like Shmuel said, I have the honor of, for 3 years to work with an organization that named Osei Chayil. That the mission is to really accept soldiers, men and women, lone Israeli soldiers that come from ultra-Orthodox backgrounds. That they, as you probably know, the ultra-Orthodox families believe in learning Torah, and these young people also want to serve, in addition to learning Torah, also want to serve in the army. And that's why it's difficult for them to come back home in the weekends when they go out of the army. So what we do, and I'll elaborate more after the video, what we do is really provide these soldiers that also face economical and emotional challenges. We provide them a home and a family, but I'll tell you more after the video, if that's okay with you.
Right. I just want to say before the video, this topic is quite a sophisticated one. It touches many levels in the Israeli society, and we will try to explain everything. So let's bring the video first.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Yaakov Nissenbaum, 25 years old.
My name is Shoshana.
אני אליקים, אני בן 20.
My name is Avi Friedman, and today I would be happy to share with you my story.
I grew up in an ultra Haredi house, Hasidic. At the age of 19, I decided to draft into the IDF.
I was born and raised in Yerushalayim to a Haredi family. At the age of 17, I decided to take a different way, and my parents didn't accept that. So I find myself on the street in a really tough place, dark place, in survival mode.
הגעתי לעמותה חצי שנה לפני שהתגייסתי, בזמן שלא היה לי איפה לגור, איפה לישון.
Due to my family's state, I didn't really have a lot of support from my family, if it's money-wise, if it's just in general going into the army, also as a woman because they're very orthodox and in general.
The Osi Chayil organization gave me an apartment, a place I can call my house. They provide me food, they provide me education, and they provide me the help and the psychological help and the basic help and more so I can serve in the army.
I was able to find great comfort in the OC Hayel organizations. I joined one of their apartments. What makes it really unique and made the life good as a soldier is whenever you come back, there's always not only an apartment waiting for you, but also someone to give you a good hug, a good word, just like any other family would give or support their soldiers.
היישוב ראש צורים נותן לכל חייל משפחה מלווה. המשפחה הזאת נותנת את הלב שלה, פותחת את הבית שלה, מלווה אותם בטקסים, וגם כל שבת שהם מגיעים, הם באים לארוחה, לחברה, לשיחה, הם שם בשבילהם, כי בעצם אין להם כלום.
I'm the therapist for Osei Chayil and personally treat the soldiers. Our goal is to give the soldiers mental stability to face the challenges of adult life in Israel. I accompany them in the period before they go to the army until they study at the academy.
היום אני חובש בצבא, בבסיס בדרום, ולמרות שאני בצבא יש לי גיבוי, יש לי משפחה בקיבוץ שמערכת אותי ומלווה אותי, והעמותה דואגת לי לכל מה שצריך, אם זה בית, מגורים, בגדים, אוכל.
For some people it's such a simple thing, the house, the food, and the help around it, but for us it's mamash atzalas nefoshes. And thank you very much, the Osi Chayil organization.
Finally, I have a place of my own where I can put my stuff in and I can sleep without having to wonder what's going to happen next. I appreciate it so much.
Okay. We have many questions, okay? I have many questions on the video I just saw. I want you to remember the majority of the people here know about service in the army, know what's an ultra-Orthodox Jew is, and we want to try to connect the dots and explain what is the actual situation and how is Judea and Samaria becomes a centerpiece in this story. Because in my perspective, this is an example of how the people of Judea and Samaria are giving back to the Israeli society from their power. So I want to start with the first question. Tell us who was the person, the older person who talked there in the end. I think people need to understand.
Okay, so I'll answer your question first. So the older person who spoke in the end is Tzvi Kamor. He's our emotional. We have a few emotional therapists. He heads the emotional therapy program for our soldiers. Because they face many challenges, emotional challenges, where they have to go to the army and live apart from their families. Tzvi Kamor actually just his son is also a hostage now in Gaza. He was kidnapped. That video was actually taken before October 7th. Tzvi Kamor is an amazing individual. He's also an adoptive family in Kiryat. He lives in Kiryat Arba, Hebron, actually really on the border. A great person. Yeah, his son Eitan Moore is kidnapped. We're hoping for him to. We're praying for him to come back every day alive. And he was kidnapped together with the former mayor of Hebron, Kiryat Arba, Hebron, Liebman. Liebman's son, unfortunately, was found dead. And Eitan Moore, we're still praying for his return. So he's the head of emotional therapies. He actually is one of the greatest individuals I know in person as well. He even came twice when our soldiers from Osei Chayil, some of them serve in Gaza and also in Judea and Samaria. We don't have any soldiers up north, but we have in Judea and Samaria. We have also in Gaza. And when they come out, he comes even now he comes and talks with them to give them support, emotional support and strength. So he still continues. Yeah, he's a great individual.
Just to emphasize the point, although he's struggling with his own personal situation with a kidnapped son, he's still there helping and supporting others. What a
He's-
great individual. And I must say, became very famous and well known because the way he speaks, he shows so much heroism, and he always talks about how the nation's best is before his own son. He always
Right.
talks about, like, I love my son, I care about my son, but what does the nation need right now? Do we really need to release everybody? Do we need to give up everything? Okay, let's put it aside. Gabi, let's
By the way, another note, by the way, on the video, I don't know if you probably saw, there was unfortunately in Osechai, we had two soldiers also got killed in the battles on October 7th. One of them is also David Mittelman from our Rosh Stream apartment. But just that's something personal I wanted just to share as well. So I'll give you some, if that's okay with you, I'll just give you some, I'll go from the beginning how Osechai was formed.
Sure.
So Osechai was formed by Rabbi Aaron Granot, a resident of Kiryat Arba, Hebron. In 2016, he heard of a soldier needed a place to stay because he drafted into the army, and he just brought him to his house. And slowly, more and more soldiers from Haredi backgrounds heard about Aaron Granot and asked him also to come live in Kiryat Arba. So Aaron Granot decided to rent apartments in Kiryat Arba. Today we have 12 apartments in Kiryat Arba, which house our home for lone soldiers. What we do is we attach, every apartment has an adoptive family living nearby. Which is really an anchor of support. You know, the soldiers come home, they know that they don't only have a roof on top of their head and food to eat and also clothing to wear, but they also have an adoptive family that is waiting for them, will come to the ceremonies and really become a family to them with the siblings and the parents. And they know they have not only a roof over their head, but also an emotional anchor and support for them with a family.
So
Yeah.
I think we need to emphasize one thing.
Yeah.
What is the challenge of coming from an ultra-Orthodox family?
Right.
Though the notion, we know that they don't want to go to the army, we know that they're against going to the army. What happens to an individual who goes to the army anyway? A person
Right.
comes to his parents, his rabbis, and says to them, I want to go to the army. What happens to him?
Right. So, as you probably know, the ultra-Orthodox community in general, you probably know that there's all kinds of there's Hasidic Haredi ultra-Orthodox, there's Litai, there's a wide range of Haredi types of families, but in general, they're not positive and not in favor of going to the army because they believe more in only learning Torah. By us, now, just to answer your question, what happens is, they face it when a young person goes and tells the rabbi or the family, mommy and daddy, I want to go, in addition to learning Torah, I also want to go serve our nation, our army. The family is very scared, and also the rabbis are very scared that, okay, you're going to go to the army, you may lose your the time of learning Torah, maybe lose your faith. That's the biggest fear, and this is why mainly the ultra-Orthodox community is against. They believe that how would I say it? The scenery of the army, it doesn't match what an ultra-Orthodox young man or woman have to see. They have to be in the yeshiva.
Now let's be honest, Gabi. Both of us went to the army.
Right.
The army is not an easy place for a religious person.
For sure.
There's a lot of tension. It's a new culture. We need to imagine people that never know anybody outside of their small, close community. Now they're exposed. It's a big step. It's a big move. And for many, it becomes this frightening situation. Now, is this frightening situation needs to be something that you shouldn't go? We disagree. We went, although we were different from the vast majority. But in this community, it's like it's the end of the world maybe for them, and they don't want to bring more people in. So I assume that what happens in a very close situation is that they're telling their kids, their loved ones, okay, you want to go to the army? Don't come back to the neighborhood. I don't want everybody to look at us. I don't want everybody to be part of it. I don't want your brothers to be influenced. Exactly. I don't want people to have this thing that they might go to the army. So what do? Who can they approach in this situation when they're not welcome back at their families?
So this I agree with every word you said. This is exactly the problem, and this is why at Osei Chai, I'll just elaborate a little more. Today we have 22 apartments that we rent across Israel. The majority of them, we have, I think we have 14 apartments are in Judea and Samaria. We have in Kiryat Arba Hebron, we have in Eli, we have in Gush Etzion, and in Susia. Yeah, and we have like over 50 soldiers living in these apartments. And also the other places are also like in religious communities. The reason our apartments are good to them, just like Shmuel said, the fear is okay, you're gonna go to the army, you're gonna be in a secular community. By us, the lone soldiers find a very good solution. And why is that? And I don't want to boast about the settlers in Judea and Samaria, but many of them are very warm families and welcoming, and also they keep the Torah, the Bible, they keep the amendments. And this is why for these lone soldiers who come from these backgrounds, it's I would say, a soft landing. Okay, by us, we believe both in Zionism and keeping the Torah, the Bible, all the amendments. And this is why when these lone soldiers come from these backgrounds, they find like a soft landing by us because they have families and know what they go through. They know their backgrounds, and by us, they can still keep it and still live their former lifestyle and still serve in the army and have also an anchor of support and also have a similar life to that they come from. So this is and just
and to be honest, we saw it during this war. Okay, we'll give an example. I showed it already, this video here. There was a soldier who died. His wife gave this emotional speak. His name is Elisha. What was the last name? Oh, yeah. Levinstern. Okay.
Right.
Elisha Levinstern. His wife gives this emotional talk, and she gives examples of how he was. This guy, listen to this, Gabi. He was training. First, the very famous photo of him sitting in Gaza inside of an Arab house, learning Torah inside Gaza. And she always shares about the fact that, when he was training, he had this app of like push-ups or like pullovers, and then 60 seconds break between sets, it would open a book to give you the notion of, we know of so many people that can integrate being a soldier, being in the army, and be a very religious person, continue to learn, continue to pray, to be a man of God. So this is not here. That's exactly what she says, straight in the Torah. That Margot just said that, correct. So you have this living examples all over Judea and Samaria in their families. And now the ultra-Orthodox kid come to a family and they see that's what we do. We serve in the army, and yet we serve God. We learn, we pray, and we are mixing this into our life. So you provide them a place to live. You provide them groceries. You provide them the necessities of their life, and you're helping in that way. I want to ask, how are the people of the communities integrated in the story? Because you have like 15 guys coming to your community. How does it work?
So for me, that's the most beautiful part of the organization. Because I'll tell you why, to rent an apartment and bring soldiers, that's a very easy part. By us, Osei Chai, the main project, it's also the most cost effective because it's free. We have volunteers, is the adoptive families. Today we have 41 adoptive families that are really a family for the soldiers. What happens, before we open an apartment, we make sure that we have in Judea and Samaria, it's very, very easy because we always approach, and we have the people that always say, bring them to us. So what happens, before we open an apartment, we make sure we have the community and the families who want to support the families when they come home to be like the second family to them. So for me, that's the most beautiful part of Osei Chai, the adoptive families. And Hebron, and in Kiryat Arba, in Eli, and Susia, and also only in Rosh Hashanah itself, in Kibbutz Rosh Hashanah in Gush Etzion, we have 17 adoptive families that are an anchor. It's beautiful. I welcome you to come when you come visit in Israel to visit. There's David Mittelman, who unfortunately died on October 7th. His family is also an English-speaking family. They speak about how they brought him to the family, how he opened up to them slowly, and really learned about the fact that there's many religious families and that are able to serve in the army and learn Torah and be Torah observant. So for me, that's to answer your question, Shmuel. The families are very active, and without them, I think the Seichai would not be able to exist. We need them, we have them. And I'll tell you even a secret. I live in Efrat. We have Ava and one of the neighborhoods, not where I live. Families are begging me to tell our CEO to open a new apartment in Efrat. So hopefully when he gets out of Gaza, he's now in Gaza now, in Netzarim, hopefully we'll think about to open a new apartment in Efrat as well. But yeah. Hope it answers your question, Sean.
I love it. I can tell you that, one of the reasons why I brought you this month specifically is tonight is the new month of Elul. And when you hear the new month of Elul, you know immediately the high holidays are coming in exactly 1 month. I'm thinking when the next Zoom is going to be after Rosh Hashanah, right? After the beginning of the year. And when I think of the beginning of the year and I think of the high holidays, especially this year, and Gabi, you can share from your perspective as well, I can imagine how many people are struggling this year in the high holidays. I'm talking about, forget about the emotions, forget about the people who lost their loved ones. I'm thinking about all the people who just, cannot afford the high holidays coming. How many people lost their jobs? How many people, businesses are collapsing? No, we live in a crazy situation. I don't think people get what we're going through. This is a not normal situation in Israel. It's almost a year of a war. And all the things we thought change. And people are evacuated from their homes, and people are fighting in the army more than 250 days. My friend, Yotab, I mentioned him many times. He's served in the last 10 months more than 250 days. He told me on the Sabbath that Sunday started 2 month service in Gaza over again. This is not a normal situation, and I'm saying it right, as we speak, because I told you, Gabi, it's like it's meant to be. We're talking about how people need help as we speak. As we speak here, I don't know if you can see my phone. I get a text message from Anat. Kim, you know Anat. Anat is the head social worker of Samaria. She asks me, how can we help families in need these high holidays? And I'm thinking about all the different segments that are struggling. The soldiers, the families, the wives that are without their husbands, the husbands that are without their wives. I want to ask you, what's the follow-up? So you're in the army and you do the service and you live in this apartment. Where do they go next, Gabi? Like, what's their hope in life? Do they have anywhere to go? How is their life changed?
After the army?
After the army. What do we
Wow,
do with
after
them?
the army, before I joined the Seichai, I never thought of it, but by us, after the army is actually the most difficult time of a lone soldier that comes from the lone soldier from Israel. I'll tell you why. And I never thought of it before I started in the organization, because what happens is during the army, he has the adoptive families, he has Osei Chayil, he has the friends in the apartments. They all come, they live together. And when he leaves the army, that's where he gets the slap in his face. Why is that? Because he doesn't have Osei Chayil. And many times they don't have a matriculation report. They don't study English. They don't study math. And they go into the new life without the support system that they had, without the army, without Osei Chayil, without nothing. So by us, what we do, we allow the soldiers to reside in the apartments until a few months after they finish the army. We have a program for them to like a pre-academic program, and we have we try to help them to find work or some to supply the food and still the clothing until a few months, so they have a softer landing into the civil world, into the civilian Israeli life. Yes, it's a very difficult period now. Even today, even especially because today it's very hard to find jobs in Israel, and so again, we try to do the best we can. That's that's that.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking
By the
about
way,
like coming
sorry.
out coming out without the network and without your like support from a family and not without the knowledge you need, it's a very hard struggle, a very hard situation. And you have no system, like you're by yourself. You can do whatever you want. I think this is something that needs to be focused also.
Right. Yeah, that's a very, yeah, so I thought there's a question from someone. So again, now we're also, yeah,
So
yeah.
if somebody has a question, please, you can ask.
But if you, by the way, just to give another point, since the war started, can you hear me? Oh, yeah. I said since the war started, we also since we got, we have over 200 graduates in Osei Chayil, and I would say maybe between a third to half of them are also now in reserves fighting, also in Gaza and also I think mostly in Gaza, a third of them. So we had some requests for emotional support. So in addition, again, like I said, our support in Osei Chayil for the current soldiers is very simple. Like Shmuel, like you said, we have the home is an apartment, a roof on top of their head. We have clothing, we have food, we have the adoptive families, but the emotional therapies is also a very important factor. Our graduates now also we're trying to help them to integrate into the civilian life easier. So we have driving lessons and also emotional therapies. Because many times they come, they get the slap in their face, and we want to help them as much as we can to give them a cushion, to land softer. That's all. So, yeah, sorry, I'm open for questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gabi, thank you so much. And I would love to say that my aim in this conversation and how I want to help, and I think we should help is, helping the communities that help Osei Chayil and the houses, because I'm thinking about the need of, the volunteering family that comes and help and support. They need also to be supported, and we need to build this circle. Christian Friend of Israeli Communities support so many initiatives in Judea and Samaria in communities, and I think when the people of Judea and Samaria continue and do good for others as well, and to see that they are devoted to that, I think it's a real like circle of blessing that continues, and we need to connect to that. So help people to do good, and that's amazing. So Gabi, thank you so much, and I will share in the next email more about the organization as well, and the links and everything about this place. Thank you so much. I want to finish and wrap up our things. We don't have a lot of time, and they say three things before we finish. Number one, I just saw on the chat, you can see our new Telegram channel. Please go and follow us on Telegram. It's like there's not going to be a chat there. We will post a couple of times during the week and updates from the land. And I think it's a great new way to connect, easy and simple. So please, you can see it on the chat. Number two, I see Kim. She also she puts a link here for Sukkot food. This is ways to help in food vouchers to people in Samaria for the high holidays. Listen, I need to say that, we are helping in so many ways in Judea and Samaria. But there's one time I hear that my heart almost explodes. And this is when I go and I travel to Rami Levi. Rami Levi is a very big supermarket chain in Israel. And I buy vouchers. I buy 400, 500 vouchers of 400 shekels or so. And I know, and they're driving next to me on the car. I put it on the next seat next to me. It's cost a lot of money, right? A lot of donations I need. But I think of how much joy am I picking now in my hands. Like it's really making their holiday tables different. And I know that if we won't be there to help them, they won't have it. Now, to tell you they will starve, it's not true. They won't starve. But the difference between having this and not having this is life-changing. And I see the happiness and I see the appreciation and I see the love that CFOAC gets from it, and it's crazy. And during the summer, I I think I wrote about it. And I had somebody calling me from one of the communities. He got my personal number, and he said to me, "I know that in 2 months or so we're gonna get food vouchers, but I need your help today." I said, "What happened? Like what? Where are you coming from?" And he told me the story. I am not going to share a personal story, a devastating story. Okay. Now, usually we don't do that. We don't help individuals random. We go through the communities because, we need to have a mechanism to know exactly who needs to be covered and how we do it properly. So I reached out to the social worker of Samaria and I told her, check about this guy. Like, what's the story? And she came back to me and says, listen, it's a serious situation. So I already signed him like into 3 different places that for food vouchers, and we help them on the spot, whatever we could. And me personally, I also help them because there's a real need, and it breaks my heart to imagine that people need help to support their table and their holidays. So I think it's a necessary cause. And once a year, we're doing it. I think twice a year. High holidays and Passover. These are the 2 times we dedicate time to help the communities. And the last thing I want to tell you about how crazy Israel is right now. So I've spent the summer touring in the US. I've been to many places. I gave many lectures. I had some downtime with my family as well. I've landed Friday 2 hours before the Sabbath. Not 2 hours, 4 hours before the Sabbath, after I was stuck in Cyprus with canceled flights. I'm not gonna get to the whole story. It's just, flights were canceled. United I was stuck. Anyway, I landed in Israel on a Friday. Okay, we spent the Sabbath there, and it takes time. After 2 months, I still wake up in the morning and I'm like, where am I? I'm in Israel. I'm in the US. Like, what's happening around me? So Sunday afternoon, I get the realization I'm in Israel. So you're in Israel, you're in Samaria, you're with your family. What's the first thing you do that you realize you are there indeed? I'm going to show you. Did you saw what I went to? And I went to the local commander who kept my weapon away, and I just was reunited with my personal weapon. It's a full rifle. It's not a gun. It's an actual rifle. And this is to show you what happens in Judea and Samaria as we speak. This is the reality. And if it wasn't sure enough, the army announcement about being a combat zone in Samaria, the 3 attempts during the weekend, and the terror attack that killed 3 people in Hebron is there to remind us where we live and what's the story in our life right now. And as we speak, and I will always finish this chat like this, we have soldiers fighting for our nation in the north, in the south, in Judea and Samaria. We need never to forget them, to pray for them, and hope for all of them to come back home. And with that, to continue and pray and hope for the fast comeback of our hostages and our kidnapped heroes, that for what we've learned this week, they're still alive. And I hope there will be the ways to bring them back home, because we need them back home. We cannot stand it anymore. We need a miracle. If it's not clear yet, that's what we need. We need God to intervene and do his miracles to save this situation. Our hearts are broken. We are in shock and in awe with the fact that tonight, as we speak, we are 11 months from the Hebrew date of the attack. My friends, as we speak, my friend who lost his daughter has his memorial service as we speak. Can you imagine it's been 11 months? The feeling we have, it was yesterday. our hearts are broken. We're still inside this circle of events, and we're still focused and praying and hoping and doing our best to make our life here better. And I want to thank all of you for continuing to reach out, to bless us, to stand with us, to pray for us, and to be part of this. We really do appreciate it. And you should know that you're making a real change in the land, in God's land. And join me and continue to pray and to bless Israel. Thank you. From the roller coaster of emotions, it's insane, but that's our life. Any question, any thoughts? Gabi is here. I'm here. Kim is here. Please.
I just had a quick couple of questions, Shmuel. I just want to clarify. So all of the apartments that Osei Chayil does are only in Judea and Samaria?
No, should I answer? Yeah. No, no, most of the apartments are in Judea and Samaria. We have a few more that are outside.
Okay,
But I said we have I think 14 apartments we have in Judea and Samaria.
that's fantastic. And then
the majority.
the families, the adoptive families are there in the
Yeah. So,
in the
we have 12 apartments in Kiryat Arba, Hebron, an apartment in Rosh Hashanah that houses 12 soldiers, minus one that died unfortunately in Kisufim, on October 7th, David Mittelman. In Eli, it's in Samaria, Binyamin. There's always an argument, where is Eli exactly? And either Binyamin or Samaria, and in Susia, which is not far from Kiryat Arba as well.
Yep. Okay.
So
Fantastic.
like over 50 soldiers.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Here in Colorado Springs, we have the Air Force Academy, and cadets come for 4 years while they're in school, and we're a sponsor family to a couple of cadets each
Nice.
year. So I can relate to, having adopted soldiers. Not quite the same thing, but sort of.
Of course, just so you know, Yaakov, the video, the first guy who speaks, Yaakov, he's a graduate, and he's in America. He learned to become a pilot after that. So
Wow.
he lives today in America. I think he lives now in Sacramento.
Okay.
So we helped him. Actually, I want to tell you another thing. One of our main volunteers, it was the head of the Air Force, Eliezer Shkedi. He's a general. He commanded the Air Force, and he's a volunteer by us in Osei Chayil. He accepts when we have the young people before the army, so they come to us like up to 6 months before the army. They come and the General Shkedi, he goes, meets with them, and speaks to them, and goes for a trip with them, tells them about the Israeli history, about the army, what they're gonna face, gives them like a motivation talk, and to see like a very high-ranked officer, that gives them like a lot of inspiration. So he's one of our volunteers from the Air Force. Yeah,
That's
just
fantastic.
an anecdote. Yeah.
And then, can you give us the translation for Osei Chayil? What does it mean?
Wow. Osei Chayil, Osei is like Osei, doing, and Chayil is doing, how do you, Eshet Chayil, valor.
Valor.
Yeah, valor. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Doing valor. So it's like a Jewish phrase.
No, but it's also a play of words, because Chayil,
Exactly.
valor, also sounds like army or like a soldier. So it's like valor and chayal. It sounds almost the same. So it's like a play of words.
Exactly.
Love it. I love it.
Good question.
Yeah.
Okay, I think everything is clear. Everything is great.
Perfect.
Thank you, my friends, for coming. Wish you all a good night. And if I'm not going to see you before, a happy Jewish New Year. It's exactly a month from now. So this month of a lot of prayer, a lot of, preparing ourselves in repentance of connecting to the high holidays. This year,
Amen.
four straight days: Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and the Sabbath. So we have a long, long holiday. Do you know that, Gabi? Prepare. Start to cook.
Yeah. Yeah, well, listen, I'm very I'm speechless of seeing so many people joining us and learning about. Thank you so much for all the support and for everything. It's really speechless. I don't know what to say. Thank you for the opportunity and for everything you do.
Definitely. Thank you, Gabi, for what you do and for sharing with us. We
Thank you
appreciate it
so much.
tremendously.
Thank you, my
Thank you so
friends.
much.
Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye,
Bye
Bye.
bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.